Hello and welcome to Oldie but a Goodie, the show where we review movies that some of which we like, some of which we don't like. This week, it's one of those two.
Oh.
I'm joined by Sandro.
You're not going to take a stance on this, Zach?
No, I will never take a stance because, as we know, we're a big fan of romance movies. We just love romance movies. And by we, I mean me. I'm just a huge fan of all romance movies. They're just great. So I decided this week that I would pick one of those because I'm such a big fan. And I will not live to regret it.
Okay.
Because the movie isn't bad. Anyway, this is the show where we review movies from 1984. And most of which suck. But this week, it's one of those.
I take issue with it. I don't think most of them have sucked this year. Definitely a very large portion of them have been terrible. But, like, not all of them.
Yeah, we review movies as they came out during the year. Like, we were cinema goers that also had access to, like, every movie across the entire planet. And we're just big movie fans of filthy rich.
Yes.
Yeah.
We went to the intergalactic cinema of Earth. And every week we watched one movie that comes out. But, like, movies back in the 80s, probably, like, $3 a ticket. So, we can do that. We can afford that.
Yeah, except you'd be paid, like, $3 a day, you know,
That's
to
true.
get by.
Well, people don't ask us where we get our money from in the 80s. So, you know, we
true.
could be thieving. We could be thieving.
Yeah, we could be stealing other people's property and then, for no reason whatsoever, just reading through it. And then getting really sentimental about the whole thing and then trying to seduce a married woman using said diaries somehow, except that doesn't really come up. You're just kind of charming.
This movie sucked.
I don't know what you mean.
This felt like a January movie. Like, this is one of, like...
Oh, yeah.
Why did you pick this? Why did you pick this?
We should make that the worst award. The January award.
January award.
Yeah.
It's not even as bad as something like Crackers, but it is just painfully awkward and also very problematic. Why would you write this?
Why? Yeah, I had a lot of questions. So which character did you hate more?
I actually hated his thief friend the most.
Really?
Yeah.
That was the one character I liked. He made sense, at least.
Yes.
Oh, he was a complete arsewipe, but
Yeah.
at least he brought some levity to the situation.
There was some comedy in there.
I don't know, he was also he was a piece of garbage.
Yeah,
so.
there's no likable character in this. I actually know the husband's publisher.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Also the police officer. The, like, head of the police. He's like, we can't really do anything. He's probably gonna rob you again.
That was good.
That was like, wait, what? He's not good with PR, that's for sure. And then when he, like, goes with him with hard evidence, he's like, we gotta go through the procedures.
He was such a... that's true. I think the cop is the best character in this movie. But while he may be the best character, what was the best movie that came out this week?
Not this one.
Maybe it is, though?
Yeah, that's true.
So your other two options, there was Crimes of Passion. A businessman tries to hire a gadget store owner to help him spy on a sex worker, which sounds about as bad as this, but probably worse somehow.
Yeah.
And then The Razor's Edge, which probably was the better option. Bill Murray, it's a dramatic movie. He plays a soldier returning from the war, and apparently it's just very boring.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I think very boring is better than aggressively terrible.
I disagree completely.
Okay.
I 100% disagree, because boring, I get bored. I don't want to watch the movie anymore. If it's so terrible it's good, then I can enjoy it some.
Is this so terrible it's good, though?
The bad guy, Thief Boy, he was so bad it was good.
His acting was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny, see? And I enjoyed that. Whereas if he had just been very bland and boring, I wouldn't even care.
I don't know, part of me, though, is like, even a bad Bill Murray movie is going to be better than whatever the fuck we just watched.
At least Bill Murray can act. A Lamau, dab, dab.
Should we just jump the deep end? We're diving. Oh, this movie's ruined me.
Jump the shark.
This movie's ruined me.
Yeah, yeah, you're really struggling here. We're barely through the intro. And you're already just done.
I watched this last night. I had a long night. I was playing games with a friend on Twitch.
Nice.
And then I was like, oh wait, I've got to watch this movie. So I watched a movie for Nerd Out, and it was not very good.
Oh no.
But it was like okay. Then I watched this.
Oh god.
And like just 2 minutes in I went, I can't do this. So I just
Wow, man.
I just got a lot of whiskey.
Yeah.
Power through.
Yeah. What movie did you watch for that? What did you mention? Some Nerd Out? What is that?
Yeah, it's a show, you know them, Rob Lloyd, Jen Spears, they've been on the show before, we talk about things.
What movie did you watch for that?
Enola Holmes. Sherlock Holmes, but the sister. And she's
yes, I've heard of that one.
It's not the worst, but it's also not very good.
Right.
So
don't spoil it here. Leave it all for that podcast.
Go listen. That episode's definitely out by now because we're banking these. We're banking this show.
Absolutely. Banking them.
That's why I had whiskey and I was like, oh boy, why did I do this morning? I woke up and I was like, oh no, I'm going to go talk about the movie.
Well, I watched it this afternoon, and I also felt that feeling of dread as I was watching this, like, man, I'm going to have to talk about this in, like, an hour.
Yeah, we haven't done a movie like this in a while.
Yeah, this one...
And I don't miss it.
Well, Sandro, what's the old ratings on, like...
Oh, we'll get to that. We will get to that, and it is hilarious.
Yep.
It is so funny. But first,
no.
It was released October 19th. So close to my birthday, which makes me hate this movie even more.
Nice.
It's written and directed...
Birthday gift just for you.
It's written and directed by Douglas J. Stewart. He hasn't directed much. He's done one other movie called Listen to Me from '89 that was a flop, would you believe? It was a flop.
Your mum.
Questionable.
Bringing you the peak of comedy, only on this podcast, your mum jokes.
But he did write 1980's The Blue Lagoon, which wasn't a flop, made a lot of money.
Oh, nice.
However, that movie is notorious for being absolutely awful.
Yeah, so far I've heard he's made this movie,
yep,
a flop, and a movie that did well that's known specifically for being really bad.
Yep.
I can't say I'm the biggest fan, to be honest.
The cast, though, Stephen Bauer plays Scott Muller, who's the Crow, but what if the Crow was a hopeless romantic who stole journals?
How is he like the Crow in any way?
Because there's scenes where he's on the top of a building with his shirt off and he's just staring out into the distance.
That's the only thing they have in common, though. And surely that doesn't make him the Crow. No, he's just a handsome guy with shirt trouble.
Oh, the oiling up scene.
Oh, that was so bad. That was so, like, what? How did she not leave after that? Good lord.
I don't know. Let's go out on a business trip.
Rubbing the lotion on the skin.
Very nice.
Very nice. I love me some oily boys.
I think that was the moment where I paused it and went, nup.
So bad.
Yeah, so his real name is Stephen Bauer. He plays a lot of drug cartel laws in Scarface and Breaking Bad.
Ah, there you go. I feel like he would be a great bad guy. Because he has that, like, handsome rogue that turns out to be a complete asshole sort of thing.
Yeah, so from what I can tell, that's what he does. So he did this movie after Scarface. So Scarface was 83, then he did this. And I think this was him trying to become like a romantic drama heartthrob sort of thing. And then it failed, so we went back to just playing drug lords.
Well, it's also a lead role, which is nice. Try and getting yourself a lead role and stuff. But, you know, good on him. I didn't think he was the worst in this movie, by far.
Yeah, I guess.
His acting for the first half is good, I think.
There was some good, like, Bruce Wayne moments where he was pretending to be rich and he was like, look at my mansion, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I just inherited all this cash, this money. I have all this money lying around. Oh, it sucks so much. God, work is so boring for me. Let's talk about giving you millions of dollars. Dollars that I got from selling your garbage.
Speaking of that, yes. The love interest is Mickey Davis, played by Barbara Williams, who has done nothing.
Really?
Just a lot of small budget Canadian romantic films that are probably fine if you like those sort of things. So she hasn't really done too much.
Yeah.
She was okay.
She was interesting. I don't know. Here's an idea. How about you don't cheat on people and instead try and fix your relationship?
No, that would make a boring movie.
But anyway.
Playing her husband Ray is John Getz. I know him from The Fly. He was in The Fly. He's pretty cool in The Fly.
Yeah.
He's also in The Fly too, but we don't talk about The Fly too. But he's good in The Fly.
I think he's good in this movie. I think he's fine. He doesn't get much screen time.
No, and all the screen time he gets is him being like, I'm angry and everything.
Yeah.
That's every scene he's in. He's walking around going,
I liked that he was just an asshole, although he did get drunk and be a real asshole. I don't know.
Anyway, this movie's got 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh. That is by critics, though. The audience score is a 50%.
50% and 5.8 on IMDb as well, so...
Yeah.
I agree more with the critic score.
Well, yeah, literally it's just like, do you like these lovey-dovey garbage movies? Yes? Then you might get some enjoyment. And those people rate it 5 stars. And then the other people don't. So, you get a 50-50.
This isn't even a good romantic drama, though. It's sort of like 50 Shades before 50 Shades was a thing. It's in that category of trash.
Yeah.
Which I think makes it worse.
I can't wait to tell you some of the reviews, because, oh boy.
I'm excited. I can't wait to tell you the sequel I came up with.
Oh boy, you came up with a sequel? I have no idea. I'll come up with it on the spot, as I always do.
We don't know how much this cost, but before we figure out how much it cost, I want you to guess how much it made, because it was considered a flop.
$2. No, gotta be a bit more. 2 mil?
Quite a bit more than that.
50 mil.
Oh, so much less than that. What are you doing?
5 mil?
Nah, more than that. What are you doing?
11.
Ah, less than that. What are you doing?
9.
Oh, it's 10. What are you? It's in the middle of your last two guesses.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So 10 million, which is considered a flop, which means this cost about 10 million.
Yeah, that's disappointing. Is it a flop? I mean, it could have still made a little bit over the amount that they spent on it.
Yeah, but then advertising campaigns and everything as well.
They spend so much, and yet I still haven't seen an ad for much movies lately.
They spent so much, and they got so far.
But in the end...
In the end, don't watch this movie.
Nice.
Alright, it starts off with font that was okay.
It was okay.
And a song that's pretty cool, and I liked it.
Yeah, I like the music. Although, there is a scene where he pulls out a gun, because she finds a gun in the drawer, and the music is so like, this is a horror movie now, and nothing happens. Literally nothing. It's got the most tense music, the most dramatic, like, oh, da, 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 da.
He's got a gun.
Yeah, and it's like, what the fuck? Nothing happens in the scene. He's like, this is a gun. You should learn to shoot it. And she's like, okay.
That was amazing, that sequence.
God, what
so terrible.
Yeah, so the music wasn't great. It's not so much the music, it was just like the audio choices at times were bad.
Yeah.
I don't know, there was some good music. That scene I really hated though.
Oh, the gun scene is the worst scene in the movie.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, actually, no, the boat scene's worse. I hate the boat scene more.
Yeah, the boat scene's really bad as well. Those two scenes definitely stick out as the two worst scenes of the movie.
Yeah. Oh, just like two well-oiled thumbs just sticking out.
Although I did like some of the jokes. I thought they were good.
There were jokes in this movie?
Oh, like the boat one. That's it.
What was the boat joke?
Where he's like standing next to the big yacht and then he's like, hey, no, but that one over there is mine.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty funny.
I don't think there were any other jokes.
She and her husband are having a wedding anniversary and they're out of the house, right?
Yep. We're jumping into the movie. Spoilers for this garbage movie that you should
We've
never
already
watch.
spoiled everything.
Yeah.
Too late.
And you know what? I'm okay with that.
Ah.
People should not watch this movie.
Anyway, they're having an anniversary and their house is empty. So Thief Boy and his thief friend are like, we'll break in.
Except his thief friend doesn't... Do we see the thief friend? I thought it was just
the thief
him.
friend is the doorman. He's the doorman at the restaurant they're going to. which we never see again. Did he get fired from that job? Or is that still how he does things? Because we never see him as the doorman again.
I didn't see him at all in that scene. I missed him completely. He was in that?
Yeah, because like he calls up his friend and is like, hey, the house will be empty now. Go for it.
Oh, okay. I missed that. Well, maybe he was just disguised as a doorman. Did you think of that one, Sandro?
No, because that character's dumb and couldn't think of that.
This movie's far cleverer than you can possibly imagine.
This movie is actually a giant metaphor for the relationship between Jesus and Judas. It's actually a metaphor if you think about it.
I hated that. So they're hanging out at this restaurant and they're like, oh, I've got this new thing happening, the designer stuff happening, and he's like, oh, how much is that gonna cost me? See, that's a joke, Sandro.
He's such a bloke.
Such a bloke.
Yeah, because he writes children books, except the children books take him a very long time to write.
Fair.
And she's an interior decorator.
Yeah.
The style of writer's block he has for children's books is very funny.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean?
He's like, I've got to be in the zone to write about Timmy and his dog. I've got to be in the zone, man.
Absolutely, man. It's vital that Timmy and his dog have a in-depth relationship that makes sense to my listeners, alright? It makes sense to my readers.
Yes.
Because otherwise I'll be crumbling down. The book will crumble in their fingers. I'll be a sham.
So here we go. I'm going to write something now. O stands for orange.
Orange. Isn't that a little cliche? Or does it depict the cliche in their cliche relationship between a boy and his dog?
It's meta-commentary.
My God. These 5-year-olds are going to go insane over here.
These 5-year-olds are going to lose their
goddamn minds.
Nah, good on him.
No, but he puts a lot of work. It is funny that he's so obsessed with his work when it's like 5-year-olds. But he is like the biggest children's writer thing.
Apparently.
At the moment.
It does say that. But that's also his publisher telling him directly, so I didn't know if I should believe it.
But his publisher is dead honest 100% of the time. We know this for a fact. So he wouldn't exaggerate, because he literally told to his face that he's a complete asshole.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know.
So they're having dinner. Meanwhile, we cut to... Wait, what's his name? Scotty. Breaking into their house with this great song playing behind them. It's like da-da-da-da, or something like that. It's real cool. It's like all synthy and bassy.
Yeah.
Except the scene goes on for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's a long scene. And he's not just taking little things. He's taken anything of value, including, like, giant-ass paintings.
He takes paintings of her.
And one of the giant paintings is just a painting of the wife.
That was a really weird moment where, like, he saw the painting and went, very nice. And then he just took it.
That lady can get some of this boy, if you know what I'm saying. But surely that one wouldn't be worth anything.
Well, he keeps it in his room.
Yeah, no, he just keeps it to look at it, which is creepy as hell.
It's almost like, yeah, he's a creep.
Anyway, he grabs all this stuff, including a box that's locked, and he's like, oh, this could be full of jewels and gold. I'm gonna get me some of this. So he grabs the locked box, because it's very secured.
Yep.
So here's where I have a little question. Why is she keeping her diaries in a locked box?
Because her diaries are just they're just transcripts for a pornographic novel she's writing.
Yeah, no, pretty much she's just like sexual fantasy books that she's writing because she's not getting enough from her husband. Oh no.
The diaries are very funny. Whenever we hear segments from them, it's very funny. Yeah. It's so like emo.
Yeah, it sounds like something that would be written on DeviantArt or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, that level of fan art sort of writing. I wish that he could scoop me up and take me away from my life under tyranny.
I am just like the princess in the castle, and my husband is the dragon, and someone needs to slay that dragon with their cock.
I have no idea what that meant.
I don't know either.
But it was hot and steamy, and that's what we're after.
I don't know what that meant, but it was hot and steamy is just the tagline for this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so she gets home and she's immediately like, oh no, my journals.
But there could be someone up there, still up there. We need to call the cops out. Nope, I'm gonna run up and check on my journals.
And the cop man, as you mentioned before, is like, yeah, we're never gonna catch these guys.
Yep. We could get, like, kids and stuff, but, professionals, nah, they're in and out before we can do anything.
Yeah.
Have fun with your insurance.
Which is, you know, how professional thieves work. They steal your stuff, wait for you to get insurance payout, and then steal your stuff again.
She at one point is like, we should get a dog, we need cameras and stuff. Yeah, you do. She's right. You should get more security.
If he's the biggest children's author in America, how doesn't he have security cameras?
Yeah, or like guards, or like literally any security.
We cut to the thieves, and Thief Boy is just doing coke and trying to set Scotty up with people.
He's like, oh man, he's the best of the best. He's been giving us 10 grand every time he goes out. He's got the eye. He's got the stuffs.
He took the stuff. Now, there's one line kind of referencing that Scotty has just come out of jail as well. There's one line.
But he's not feeling himself, you know? He seems to be down under the weather. Not the fifth guy, the guy who's been robbed. He's concerned about his friend, because the friend seems to be, you know, wigging out. I'll call up one of my girls and be like, hey, bang this guy for like an hour. That would be great. That'll cheer him up.
There's so many weird lines where it's like, she goes down like an anteater. Like, oh, that doesn't sound particularly...
Well, you won't have any ants anymore, will you?
Yeah, okay.
Ants in your pants? Well, not anymore.
What? Ugh. I don't want to know what that means. So, we get so many scenes of him reading the journal, and we see little excerpts where in the journal it says, I don't like men that smoke. And so he's like, oh, cigarette, gonna put the cigarette out. There we go.
Put that away. Don't want anybody to see that.
There's very funny lines where we cut to her and she's saying, I know he's reading them. I can feel it every time he turns a page.
What? How? No, you can't. You're not a psychic. This isn't... What? What does that even mean? What do you mean?
I don't know. Then we cut to her in a shop, and he bumps into her outside the shop.
Yeah.
And all her groceries go out on the ground, and he's like, I'll help you pick them all up.
Yeah, but then she's like, no, don't worry about it. And he's like, no, it'd be my pleasure. I insist. Please, let me touch them.
Yes, I can guess what your favorite ice cream is. It's rum raisin.
How did you know that? And then he's like, oh, because he dropped on the ground, haha. And she's like, oh, right, yeah.
Ice cream, here you go.
Ice cream.
Why? Why would he do that?
Because he's trying to be charming. He's a charming boy. They bump into again, and he's like, well, what do you do for work? And she's like, I'm an interior designer. And he's like, oh my god, I'm looking for an interior designer. Fancy that.
So she says, well then, come see the showcase that I'm working on and you can have a look at the room I designed. They also have coffee as well. He gets coffee and she sits down and is like, oh, I'll have some coffee. Where? How did you know what my order is? And he's like, oh, that's my coffee you picked up there.
I thought that was pretty good, though.
But then he immediately starts saying incredibly creepy things.
Of course he does.
Straight after that.
I mean, why wouldn't he?
But the thing that really confused me was he was saying these things and she looked uncomfortable, but then romantic music was playing, and I was going, I really don't get how I'm meant to feel right now.
That's how romance works, don't you know?
It was very uncomfortable, but also the soundtrack was like, look how sweet this is.
It was not.
I don't like it.
I don't know what to think, because, like, I want to like the movie.
What?
But
why?
I want to try and like a movie.
Oh.
But, like...
Just as, like, a general rule when it comes to movies.
Yeah, when it comes to watching movies. Yeah, no. As in, not like... I want to like this movie specifically.
That's what I was going to say. I thought you were saying I want to actively like this movie.
No, because I don't. Spoiler alert, I didn't like this movie. But this movie was not... It did not endear itself in any way, shape, or form.
There was no arguments in this movie as to why anyone should watch this movie.
Yeah.
He goes to see the kitchen she designed, and he meets the husband there.
So he's like... chatting up with her. They're doing their bit where they're talking.
Yeah.
And then immediately the husband shows up and it's like, oh, hi, it's nice to meet you. This is the famous husband. And then he's like, you're a piece of shit. And you ignore your wife. Your wife's beautiful. I love the look of your wife. Your wife's gorgeous.
He does say all these things.
And she's talented.
And you're just a children's author.
I'm gonna bang your wife.
Yeah, he does do that.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
And then the husband's like, I'm picking up some things here. I think something might be happening.
Yeah, something doesn't seem right here.
But then, anyway, he wants her to redesign his house. And so, to convince her, they go out on a boat ride where he's immediately like, oh yeah, you're hired, by the way. Let's just hang on a boat.
So she shows up and is like, wow, your yacht's huge. It's awesome. And then he's like, that's not my yacht. This is my yacht. And he points to a much smaller dinghy.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought it was quite amusing.
Okay.
That did not meet my expectations for that second. I was expecting it to be like, haha, yes, don't you like my big, impressive boat? I can show you something else big and impressive. That sort of thing. Did you listen to anything I just said? Because I feel like you should be criticizing.
No, I should be, but I'm not gonna.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it does sound like something this movie would do.
Yeah.
He hops on his boat and he's like, won't you join me on this boat? And she's like, I thought we were going to do a business meeting. And he's like, business is over. Boom.
Business is over. You're hired. Here's $10,000.
Here's $10,000. And she's like, what? And then he's like, oh, wait, do you want more money? And she's like, oh, no, this is fine. And he's like, right, now let's get to some boating.
Yes, let me oil myself up.
Oh, okay, sure.
They're cruising and he's got his top off.
He doesn't want to get sunburned.
No, he doesn't want to get sunburned. So what he does is he very slowly puts sunscreen on, and there's close-ups, and there's soft jazz.
We got some hairy chest.
And she's just like looking like, and it goes on forever. And it's very funny.
Give me some of that hunky chunky.
It's very funny.
If a male is doing that, that's a bad sign. So far, he's only given her bad signs.
Doesn't he make eye contact with her while he's doing it as well?
He does look over at one point while he's oiling up himself, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't notice what you were doing. Don't mind me."
So then we cut to her in the bath, and she's like, that was fun. Husband just, like, bursts in and is like, hey, where'd you get the sunburn from?
Yeah, why does he come in at this point? We don't know. He's just like, because he's becoming concerned about the other guy.
Yeah, he's starting to suspect something might be happening. When the other guy was like, I want to bang your wife.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm picking up something here.
Yeah, when he was like, your wife is delicious looking. Talented. You're ignoring her.
Yeah, that was the point when the husband went, I might have to keep an eye on this.
Yeah, this is somewhat concerning, actually.
So, yeah, the husband's jealous, whatever. She goes over to Scotty's house to start the renovations. And as you mentioned before, this scene just escalates and escalates, and it's terrible.
It's really bad.
Okay, question number one about this scene. As soon as she comes over, he's like, oh, gotta hide the journals and the painting.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do it before? You set this up the day before.
Yeah.
All throughout the scene, he's making sure she doesn't look in the closet, because that's where the painting is. She doesn't look in the drawer, that's where the journals are. Put them somewhere else.
Yeah, no, he really...
Put them where your friend lives.
Yeah, like, he should have had some sort of storage, but... Because he knows that she's coming over to inspect the house, but, like, everywhere there's evidence. And she even goes to open a drawer, and she opens one. Luckily, it's not one with a journal in it. Oh, no. It's one with freaking a gun.
Jump scare noise.
Yeah, that's where jump scare, creepy music, horror music is played. Because there's a gun.
And he holds up the gun and he's like, yeah, I've got a gun. Look at my gun. You should learn to use it. And then we just cut to her in a firing range shooting the gun.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, let's learn to shoot a gun!
This scene as well.
Oh, it's babe.
Absolutely hilarious. Because she's shooting the gun, and he's like, yeah, I'll show you how to do it. Here, let me get behind. I'll show you how to shoot a gun. Yep, then R&B starts to play, and you can probably guess what happens. While she's shooting a gun.
More than guns shooting here.
It is so terrible that it's very funny.
They bang. She's just shooting away and that adrenaline's pumping.
And he's also pumping.
It's not the only thing about to be pumping. It's bad.
And then she goes home and buys her own gun.
Yeah, because she's like, well, I know how to use a gun now. I spent 15 minutes with this guy on a range before we banged.
Yep.
Guess I know how to use a gun now.
The gun does come back, though, so that was cool.
Unfortunately.
Nah, fortunately. I'm glad that gun came back. Actually, no, it would have been funnier if the gun never comes back, actually. That would have been funny.
That would have been funny. No, but it also would have been terrible, so it's fair.
Nothing really happens for the rest of the... Well, actually, no, something big happens straight after this. I completely forgot.
Yeah.
They're in someone else's house.
I was about to say.
And they're stealing stuff, but then a cop sees them.
Yep. So the guy's like, well, he left me no choice. Bang! Kills him.
The friend just kills the cop.
And we're like, what?
Yeah, now they're wanted by the police.
Yeah.
So they've got Scotty's fingerprints from inside the house. And that's the only thing that they've got that is like allowing them to find out who shot the cop, is the fingerprints from inside the house.
Yes.
And they never look into it. The cops never look into it.
Yeah, the cops don't do anything, pretty much. Like, they get fingerprints of the guy who murders, but then it's not...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, it's just, after this, it's a lot of those two going out. It's a lot of the husband and the editor going for long romantic walks on the beach and talking about their wives.
So the story guy's like, oh my god, my wife's just banging this dude, I don't know what to do. And the guy's like, yeah, you're an asshole. I would be expecting that if I was you. You're kind of a dick constantly, so you should have expected that.
Yep.
Which is great.
But now she's starting to get annoyed because Scotty's not telling her anything about himself. He's always, like, he knows everything about her, but she doesn't know anything about him. It's almost like this is a creep.
Yeah, almost like he's a creepy criminal dude who you shouldn't trust.
Yeah.
Oh well.
There's a scene where they're in a car and a cop car goes past and he's all tense and he's like, oh, a cop car. And she's like, huh, that seems like a red flag, but I'm not going to acknowledge it. Yeah. The husband at this point gets an idea in his head to follow them.
So the husband follows the guy and is like, he's going to this weird ass warehouse. I'm going to go investigate that. So he climbs onto the roof and he's making a bit of noise. So the other criminal dude in there's like, someone's on the roof. Chick pulls out a gun.
As you would.
And I was like, oh, finally some action. Someone's going to cock it. And then he snoops around the roof and he goes to an air vent. And he sees down in the air vent and he sees a load of his own stuff. Meanwhile, the bad guy sits there and aims and he's about to shoot him. But then the guy's like, his friend is like, oi, get down for there, we gotta go.
Yep.
And so the guy just leaves and nothing happens in the scene. Except that they now know they're criminals.
Well, they now know that they stole the stuff. Yeah, they now know that it's...
Yeah, it's important for that. But, like, why didn't the criminal just shoot at him?
He wouldn't have been able to hit him anyway because he was looking through a fan.
Yeah.
And so it probably would have just hit one of the fan things and ricocheted.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, then the criminals meet up and the criminal's like, hey, do you know her husband snooping around and knows that we're criminals now? You've got us all killed.
Yep.
You dum-dum.
So this is when Scotty's like, we've got to leave town, right?
This is where he turns from, like, handsome rogue to just, like, angry boyfriend.
Yeah.
What's that one movie that we watched where it was, like, about a biker or whatever?
Yeah, that was Reckless.
Yeah, Reckless.
Yeah.
It felt he turned full Reckless.
He
like,
did.
actually.
He did.
Except in Reckless when he's like, come with me, let's abandon this place and leave. In Reckless, they did, where in this movie, at least they didn't. Thank God.
This movie would have been cooler if he was doing that trick with the cans that the main character in Reckless did with his motorbike. Flinging cans off a cliff with his motorbike.
Would it have been cooler? That didn't make any sense in any movie, let alone that one.
So he goes to see her at her work and says, come with me. And she's like, no, I don't know you. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
And then Scotty's response to that is, well, I know you. I'm going to quote your journals. And she's like, oh.
Oh.
That's who you are.
You're the fifth man. Because, I mean, the other person in the movie knows, the husband. So now it's time for her to know.
Yep.
And she's like, oh my God, you're the fifth man. You're the guy guy who stole all my journals. Oh my god, I hate you. Help! Someone please save me! Like my husband! That would be great if my husband could come in and save me! And then the husband comes in and is like, what's going on here?
What's going on here? And then she's like, don't worry about them. I wrote the journals a long time ago.
Yep, so they're not true anymore.
So Scotty says, oh no, so he leaves.
Yep.
And then she says, I'm going to stop writing. I'm going to tell you everything instead. So that's good. That's a nice way to end the movie.
And he's like, I'm going to pay more attention to you now.
Yeah.
I haven't been paying attention to you. And everything's fine with their marriage now. But, meanwhile, in their house again, both the criminals are back. For some reason, even after having all this trouble with the cops and everything. Why? Who knows? Who cares? Who gives a crap?
Well, he goes into her bedroom and he looks through her latest journal and then he starts crying.
Yeah, because he kind of lost.
Why did they come back? I don't know. It doesn't matter. They start to fight. They're in the house and they're fighting, the two thieves, and one of them knifes the other. Ooh, who is it? They're both masked. Who gets knifed?
Yeah. So they come home, and then here's the bad guy. He's coming down the stairs, and oh my god, they bump into him. And she's like, oh my god, it's the guy. He's back. Oh my god. So she pulls out a gun, and then they're standing off. They both have guns. And they're pointing the guns at each other, and they go, pew pew. And then the bad guy dies. And she's like, oh my god, I don't remember shooting him.
I don't remember pulling the trigger.
The husband's like, nope, don't take off his mask. Cause then you'll get upset. Don't want that.
Instead, we'll call the cops, and the cops can pull up the mask in front of you, where you can still get upset.
Yes, correct.
Which is the right way to do things.
Absolutely.
So cops come over, they take off the mask, and oh no, it wasn't the creep dude, it was the other thief. And she's like, who the heck is this? Never seen this person before in my life.
And so she goes upstairs, and she sees, oh my god, it's the guy I banged that turned out to be a total creep. That stole everything I own and then used it against me. Wow. Isn't he such a great guy? Oh, you shot your friend for me so I didn't have to? Oh, that's so sweet. Aren't you a sweetie boy?
She turns around on him and she's like, oh, bye. You saved me. That's nice.
No,
and just if you thought the film couldn't get worse, it ends with him jumping out of a window, her looking out the window, freeze frame on her face being sad that she's leaving, while a song that's got the same title as the movie starts playing.
Yeah!
Just if you thought the movie couldn't get any worse. That's how it ends.
Yeah. That's an oldie from me, Lamau.
Is it worse than an oldie? I don't know if it is worse than an oldie.
It gets the January award. It was a January movie. It was boring. It was dumb.
All right, we're going to start the because I don't think a single movie this year is going to get another cracked award. So I'm happy to just start a new award called the January Award that starts now.
Yes.
So movies that feel like they should have come out in January.
Yes, correct. I like that.
All right, let's go to the first January Award. Congratulations, Thief of Hearts. You sucked.
Yeah, watch literally any other romance movie.
Watch literally any other movie we've done this year, aside from Crackers.
Yeah.
Oh, and blame it on Rio, because that was just illegal.
Yeah, don't do that one. That was a mistake. That's literally a mistake.
Disgusting.
Yeah, that was a sick movie. Anyway.
Now, usually we pitch sequels to the movie that we just watched, because there aren't any to this one, and we're like, let's make a sequel, because Hollywood has got no original ideas.
Yeah, so my sequel that I've come up with is a brilliant sequel, alright. So, we cut to a time, I don't know. We see our thief boy getting all thiefy. He's stealing stuff, but oh no! The cops are here!
Oh no!
And he gets arrested.
Oh, not
He gets arrested and put in jail. But when he gets arrested, a war breaks.
Oh, great. Alright.
So, no, here we go. So there's a general of the opposing army, and he's going to a fancy dinner, and the government comes to this guy, and it's like, you're the best thief that ever existed. And now they need him to go in and steal the secret plans from the general. So he goes in, and he steals a secret lockbox, which that was locked with all these papers in it. But oh no! The box is actually just diaries of the general and how he hates his wife and he's really missing out on action. So they're like, we need a new plan. What we're going to do is we're going to send you in with these journals, and you're going to seduce the general.
Yes!
To get these secret plans. And then he steals the plans, but he's accidentally fallen in love with the general.
Oh, no!
And so now he doesn't know if he wants to give the plans away, but he has to stop the fighting. So what he tries to do is he tries to convince the general to stop fighting. And he's like, no, we got to stop this war, stop the bloodshed. And he's like, I don't even know you anymore. And they break up, and then he gives the allies their plans, and they like go out to battle, and they shoot the general, and he's like, no. So he goes over to the dead body. It's like, why didn't you stop the fighting? It's like, wow. Oh, it's all I know. And then he dies.
That sounds awful.
Wasn't that a beautiful story?
Oh, dear.
What's your sequel?
So, the husband, the husband writes these children novels, right? But he does other writing. He's got journals. The husband writes some journals. Like, now that the wife is no longer writing journals, he's like, well, someone should be doing the journaling in this family. So he starts doing the journals. One day, a thief comes in and steals all of his journals, all the husband's journals. And he's like, oh, no!
What?
Someone's reading my journals. And he gets really angry.
Wow. I've never heard of this plot line before.
The wife is like, hey, look, no, it's happened to me before. If someone starts coming up to you and saying stuff that you've probably like written in the journals, like stuff about you that's a little bit secretive, just keep an eye on that person, because that person's probably the person that's stolen. We've done this before. You know the deal.
Yeah.
So the husband's goes out to the shops and runs into someone. It's the same guy. It's the same creep, except he's in...
What?
Except the creep's in, like, makeup. He's got, like, a fake mustache.
Wait, he's got...
and, like, Harry Potter glasses.
What?
He's wearing a tweed coat.
What is happening?
And...
Alright.
Disguised Scotty basically tries to seduce the husband so that he can get close to the husband in, like, a hotel room and kill him.
Oh! How does that go? Is this a comedy?
No one really knows. It's just...
No. That's not good.
It's just the same movie.
Oof.
So yeah, he kills the husband in the end of the movie, and then the wife is like, oh
Nice.
no! So she gets out the gun and then she shoots him.
Oof.
Yeah.
Big rip.
And then the wife... And then it turns out the husband was wearing a bulletproof vest the whole time.
Oh!
Because it was actually their plan the whole time to write the journals and to get the journals stolen, and for the thief to wear a disguise and try and... It doesn't make sense, but it makes as much sense as other movies that do this.
All right.
It was their plan all along to take revenge.
Wow.
It's called Thief of Revenge.
That is a bad name.
And it somehow got negative 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. Wow. Wow, that was not the name I was expecting, but oh boy, it's the name I wanted.
Alright, moving on. I am sick of this movie.
It's time for River. Who knows what time it's for?
It's time for a new watch.
It's time for raving reviews, but this week there wasn't too many reviews for this. I've got four that I think you'll appreciate.
All right.
How this works is I tell him the review, he guesses the score. That's it. So, Bradley. Good old Braddy boy. He's like, terribly gaudy, still pleasing to watch.
That's it?
That's it. That's all he says. Yep.
It's, 3. I'll go 3.
It's 2.5. You were close. You almost said 2.5 at first.
I was going to say 2.5, yeah.
Yeah, you should have gone with your gut, man. Next review.
Yeah.
Lynn says, I own this movie on DVD, and I think it's a pretty good movie.
Oh, okay. Well, look. Good on you, Lynn, for not just saying I own this on DVD.
Yeah,
like a lot of other reviews.
You thought I was going to have one of those reviews that is like, I own this movie on DVD, full stop, nothing else.
Yeah. I really hope it's 3.5 and not higher.
It's 5 out of 5.
God damn it.
Teresa says, I really like this movie. It made me want to write in my journals more. I wasn't afraid of what others would read.
Oh no, that's not
That's not
nice.
the takeaway, Teresa. Teresa, no. That's not the takeaway you're supposed to get from this movie.
So that's a 4 out of 5. I'm just slowly going higher with my rating.
That's a 5 out of 5.
God damn it.
Daryl finally says, in all caps, by the way, "This is an awesome movie with what I think is one of the steamiest love scenes, not in a soft porn or a porn movie."
Oh no. If that's 5 out of 5, I am gonna be angry.
It's 5 out of 5. And that's the end of the show. Woo!
I had hope for these reviews.
You shouldn't have.
Well, that's the episode.
Good movie though.
No.
Good movie.
No, Watson. I would rewatch The Warrior and the Sorceress before even thinking about this movie again.
Wow.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, end of the episode. Thanks for listening, I guess. To help us out, tell a friend, but don't tell them about this episode. Let's keep this episode a secret between you and us.
Yikes. Yeah, we don't want to listen, talk about, or hear this movie ever again.
No, if you ever see us in public or we're doing something where you can like message us, don't ever bring up this movie. This never happened. This was a fever dream that the three of us share.
Yep.
If you want to get in touch with us, though, you can. Emails, Facebooks, Instagrams, YouTubes, if you want to leave us a salty comment. Links to everything in the description. Next week, a guest, probably. What movies do we have? Oh, I'm picking.
Yeah, you're picking. You got a few movies.
Oh, great.
American Dreamer. A housewife wins a trip to Paris in a mystery writing contest.
That's fun.
She loses her memory when she gets hit by a car.
Okay.
And begins acting if she were the female detective in her story.
That doesn't sound too bad. That actually sounds like a lot of fun.
It does sound pretty fun. And then we have Bloodsuckers from Outer Space.
Wait, what?
Farmers in Texas become brainwashed with bloodsuckers. Whoa.
Bloodsuckers from Outer Space.
Bloodsuckers from Outer Space. Then we have Body Double.
Oh.
A failed actor. Hey, look, another one. Becomes obsessed with a neighbor and then becomes framed for murder or something.
Wow.
Whatever.
That sounds... No.
We have Give My Regards to Broad Street. Paul McCartney playing himself. He daydreams about losing an important tape of new music. Ringo's also in it.
Great.
Paris, Texas. What a name.
I've heard of that movie.
Yeah, no, you've heard of the 2 states that it names in it. Yeah,
No, I've
absolutely.
heard of the movie itself. I have heard of the movie.
No way. That is the worst title I've ever heard in my life. No way you've heard that before.
Because in Texas, there's a place called Paris.
What?
And the movie's about going to Paris in Texas.
The Terminator. I'll be back.
Okay, go through all the titles again.
I wonder which one you'll pick. Well, there's Bloodsuckers from Outer Space, which sounds pretty
That does
good.
sound pretty good.
Paris in Texas, which is a road trip movie about a man who tries to reconnect with his brother and nephew. Give my regards to Broad Street.
Look, I like the Beatles, but we did the Purple Rain movie, which is
Yeah.
a musician playing themselves, and I can't go through that again.
It sucked. American Dreamer, Body Double. There were some other ones. We got the Terminator or Bloodsuckers from Outer Space.
I feel like it's between those two. I have heard of Paris, Texas. I can't remember how. Maybe someone I know has watched it, and apparently it's not too bad. But I'm not going to pick it. Because, yes, it's between Bloodsuckers and Terminator, obviously. And there's no way I'm not picking the Terminator, so we'll do the Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator time. We'll be back with the Terminator. Haha, get it? Because that's the quote.
Speaking of quotes, we end on a favourite quote from Thief of Hearts. My favourite quote is, "I know he's reading them. I can feel it every time he turns a page."
My favourite quote is, "Hi, I'm a thief man. Here to try and seduce your wife. Hey, you know you're a piece of shit and your wife's great? I'm a great person. Let me bang your wife."
I hate this movie. I really hate this movie.
And we're done.